So it would seem like it might be better, reproduction-wise, to take a bunch of cells instead of just one. But not only is it one cell, it's one half of the genome of one cell. It creates... Why winnow everything down to a single strand of DNA in the process of reproduction?
So there is an idea out there that by forcing this bottleneck, you thereafter create organisms that all come from the same genetic background, not organisms, cells that then can stick
all
together.
Cells in the body,
right. All cells in the body, encouraging cooperation. But you have to remember, of course, that we have things like bushes, trees, plants. They can actually, if you start sampling trees and you do it here versus you do it there, these are different branches, they can actually accumulate all kinds of mutations in the process, and they're still kind of the same organism, but they're also a little bit different. But you could then also say that, well, still, when they are forming the seeds, they do impose these bottlenecks on that kind of modular life cycle as well. So
a mutation in that branch might lead that branch to grab more nutrients, make more seeds, and that branch would have an advantage at the cost of the benefit for the whole bush. Yeah. Do people actually observe that in trees and bushes?
Yeah, so there's, it's actually called the study of organismality.
Organismality?
Something like that. Something like that. So when do you actually get an individual as opposed to something that just kind of like forms increasingly diverse mats or growth structures or whatever? So the totally interesting research field, because a lot of biology...
So what is an individual?
What is an individual is the question.
I mean, the general idea is all the cells have the same DNA, but it's not that simple.
It's not that simple, because even within me, I mean, I'm sure there's somatic mutations from here to there.
So what's a somatic mutation?
Somatic mutation is a mutation that is not in the germline, it's in the soma, which is...
So the germline is the reproductive line, like in the testes and the ovaries?
Exactly, whereas everything else is the soma. It's my hand, it's my nose, it's the things that do
So it sounds
things,
like it's pretty important to keep those separate, because if a cell, if the DNA is in a somatic line, it's very important that it be a dead end. So it can't get any other advantage. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the idea.
So, but this doesn't always work with cancer.
Yeah, so cancer is intriguing because it's basically a phenomenon where you could tell, you could say that these cells are cheating. They are trying to go their own way, trying to hopefully get into new organisms through this other way. It doesn't usually work, but because it's so easy to go back to...
They're just doing what cells do, right?
Yeah, do what cells do.
Cells divide and they divide.
They have their replicative abilities, and then they just keep doing that because in the short term it works fantastically. Suddenly there's more of you.
So when George Williams and I were writing Why We Get Sick, we spent several days just trying to do amateur's calculations about how many safety catches you would need for a cell to prevent it from becoming a malignancy.
Exactly.
And we were making stuff up, really. But we came to the idea, given the number of mutations and the number of cell divisions, that if you just had 1 or 2 safety catches, that would be blown away pretty quickly, and you'd get cancer very quickly. We figured there'd need to be at least 5 or 6 or 7. Of course, they're not sequential; they're all interacting. But you're working on something pretty similar to this.
Exactly. Right? I mean, something like 5 or 6. That seems to be the case with a lot of cancers, that especially those that are expressed in old age, because you and I, surely we have already, the bad thing number 2 or 3 having happened somewhere. They haven't killed us yet, and they might never, because other things can kill us as well. But over time, these start accumulating, and if we were trying to live another 1,000 years, they would be expressed.
So
if we're unlucky, then already earlier.
So do some people have tendencies for mutations to happen more as their cells divide during their lifetime?
So here one, of course, has to remember that everything that I'm saying, it doesn't mean that lifestyle doesn't matter. So, for example, if you are a smoker, then the risk of your lungs getting cancer are much, much, much higher, and we understand the mechanisms actually quite well now. So there's a lot of things you can eat, that you can inhale, that you can also experience, that will increase the rate of mutations in your body.
And the American Cancer Society estimates that 1/3 of all cancers are directly from tobacco. and another third are from living in modern environments where our obesity and sugar intake and exposure to other kind of things. You know, when I first started working on my paper about evolution of cancer a year ago, I thought, well, it's just bad luck and chance and mutations. That's not right.
Yeah.
Just what you're saying.
Yeah, you can impact those things. At the same time, you have to remember that there is a probabilistic component to this, so you can never say that because you walked that dangerous path, that's because
And people
this
hate
thing,
that idea. I mean, I
yeah.
ran seminars for patients with cancer and their doctors for many years, and no one wanted to hear that it was just damn stupid chance a lot of times. They always wanted it to be something that could be controllable.
Yeah.
But there are some things that can be controlled. And there are some pretty hopeful things coming down the pike in terms of ways of minimizing these mutations and helping the body to identify them with the immune system and get rid of them. Any particular directions you'd like to see cancer research going that you see especially helpful?
There's a lot of directions, and just the thing that fascinates me is the interspecific variation in it.
What does interspecific variation mean?
It's the fact that the rules in a bird are not the same as the rules in a human being. I'm not claiming that that's the way to cure cancer, but I am claiming that if we ignore the fact that different organisms actually have evolved different ways to deal with this problem, or actually place more or less emphasis to even solving this problem in the first place, then that could actually lead to insights that we would otherwise miss.
So evolutionary perspectives on why different organisms get different kinds of cancers at different rates, like birds or turtles or humans, might end up being very important for finding new cures. Very interesting idea.